Shite Talk Podcast Show. Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite Talk Podcast Show. Mark and Ken.
What's up?
On episode 231 of the Shite Talk Podcast Show.
231.
Yes. We've done this intro at the end, so we're sticking at the top. So we're going to go into just us talking. I think we start talking about Ukraine, and then we go on from like basically do our before our show talk on air, because this is how we did it this week. So enjoy. No. But when you're being nice to people, they want to do things with you. That's what Russia needs to realize. When you're nice to people, people will be your friend. When you're not nice to people, people talk behind your back. That's what we're doing now.
Russia are going with the more American approach of I've got the biggest gun. So
I just think the Americans need to sell the idea to Americans about and getting involved. It's like, what about this? You just imagine this. Giant speakers, and you hear, America, fuck yeah, come and say the motherfucking yeah. That drops from the sky, and then a load of bombs blow up all those tanks. And you're like, yeah, that sounds amazing. Oh, we're on board. Let's do that. Let's blow up things.
America getting involved, though, makes things so much worse.
It makes everything worse. Does it now? That's what the Brits probably said when Poland was invaded. That's what Boris Johnson said during the week. Did you not see that? He was attacked by a Ukrainian reporter. I did see that. I think everybody's seen that. I think we're all glued to it. This is like making a murder was back in 2018.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it makes things a lot worse if America get involved.
I think it makes it worse no matter what. Like, I think there's a domino effect going to happen. Regardless of what happens, there's a domino effect. Because there's Taiwan there. And Taiwan's going to be invaded by China, because they just say, "Well, America didn't get involved, so they get involved. They want Taiwan. You're not allowed." John Cena had to apologize in Chinese to the Chinese government when he mentioned that Taiwan was a thing. He had to literally learn Chinese to apologize to the Chinese government. I know he already knew Chinese, so that was a head start on the whole thing, but he still had to apologize in... Is it called Chinese or is it called Mandarin?
Yeah, there's different forms of Chinese. Chinese just covers all the different forms of Chinese, I think.
One foul swoop. Which is what they wanted to do to Taiwan. So imagine they're looking at this situation and saying, oh, okay, there's sanctions, or there's this, but like, will they really equip? Like, how reliant are they on the Russian government compared to how reliant they are on the Chinese government? You know, all big tech like Apple and stuff like that. Or like, we're so more reliant on China than we are Russia, other than gas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you imagine like China is like, well, this is not that bad. They're not getting really too badly involved. So I wonder if we just invade Taiwan there and see what happens. So they're looking at this going, well, they're fucking not going to do it. So that's going to be the next country to be invaded will be Taiwan. And then North Korea is kind of like, well, these two dictators are invading places. We don't like South Korea. And clearly they're a bit gun shy. So, there's possibly is a domino effect of this. And eventually America goes, no, South Korea's the line. You're not taking over South Korea. And then China goes, well, we say they are. And then what happens, Ken? Then what happens? War. We're all fucked. America is now fighting China.
Well,
Amazon delivery is going to take fucking forever. Remember, like when I was trying to order my basketball jerseys, because I download NBA, that fucking NBA game, and I was waiting months. That's what it's going to be like. It's going to be like that, and I can't get anything in because they're not allowing Chinese parcels to be fucking sorted in the port. You can't get cheap shit anymore. That's why I did.
Wanting cheap shit.
This is why we fucking take out Russia and go, use bare fucking toe the line now. This is what happens to you. That's my stance on the whole thing. But I don't, to be honest, everyone's like, oh Jesus, this is terrible. Somebody should do something. But everyone's like, oh, I'm not doing it. It's like when you see like a fight in the street. Everyone's like, oh, somebody should really get involved here, but your man probably has AIDS. Your man's definitely a junkie. He probably has a needle on him. I'm not taking that. I don't know that person.
It's just nobody wants to get involved with China or with Russia. That's all it is.
It's the whole nuclear war thing. It's the whole devastation. It's like we say, yeah, it is devastating that Ukrainian kids are being displaced and civilians are being targeted, but it's better than it's them than us. That's the unfortunate truth. That's how we're looking at the situation. So it's them, not us. So let's all just go, oh Jesus, this is dreadful. Let's sanction them.
Yeah, you're one saying to Boris Johnson, "Oh, you're just scared of World War III." Well, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. We are all scared of World War. You realize there won't be Ukraine if World War III breaks out, because they have 4, I think, nuclear power plants. But one of the big things are don't invest in nuclear weapons because. And Russia's side is if anything happens, it will protect you. And then America's yeah, if anything happens, we'll also protect you. So there's reassurance by nuclear power countries that, if there's ever a threat of nuclear war against Ukraine or of a dominant power come to invade Ukraine who has nuclear weapons, there'll be protocols put in place to stop that happening. And clearly, those protocols aren't being listened to. So you imagine every country that has a nuclear power plant who might have a oddly aggressive neighbours, kind of well, we probably should need fucking nukes now. It's like when one of your neighbours' houses get burgled and you're all okay, I'm getting a baseball bat. I'm getting a crowbar. I'm going to have a game plan. I'm going to go through the game plan. Follow the game plan. I love everybody's hot takes, though, including ours, on the whole thing. I think we're just going to start off talking about the show, by the way.
I went out my way with stories to try and avoid this.
All right, do you have stories?
Yeah, do you not?
I do have stories, but some of them do involve the whole war on Russia with Ukraine. I have one story involves it. I think I have 4, and one of them is related to the war in Ukraine.
I've got typical shite talk stories.
Oh, nice. I have typical shite talk stories too, Ken. You come at me with your typical shite talk stories. I'll come at you with my typical shite talk stories, and then we'll see if the Ukrainian story that I have fits the bill, and then we can either take it out or take it in. Leave it in. You know yourself. So what's your typical shite talk stories?
So I have a man who can't urinate because he stuck a battery up his dick.
Oh, another dick-related incident. That's it. We always say on podcasts, output, not input. That's an aux lead, not a USB port.
So that's the first one I have.
Yeah.
Then I have a company that you're going to want to go and work for, Mark.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I'm not going to tell you why. Because I think getting your reaction.
Okay.
First time you hear about this will be even better.
Oh, I might have this story, by the way.
You might have this story.
Yeah.
Does it involve pods?
Yes, it does involve pods. It definitely does. We'll leave it there. It involves pods, and you can rent it out for 50,000 for 6 months.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. I have it. I knew some of our stories would clash this week.
And then another one. The other one I have is a man who got caught on CCTV having sex.
We're too like-minded again. I have that story as well. Yeah. I know how you got that story because there's a certain website that also has related content. So if you find a story, you can get related content to that story. And I was like, oh, this is actually quite a nice add-on piece to the story we're going to be talking about. I was trying to figure out if your man was working or not, because he kind of was dressed like a painter.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That could just being the way people dress in China.
I reckon he probably was working.
All right. As a painter? Are you going to say painter as well?
Yeah, why not?
All right. So my other shite talk story is to do with Fart Jar Girl. And she is being copied by a streamer. Copied? Yeah, the most successful female Twitch streamer, Amarant, I think is how you pronounce her name. She's the most successful Twitch streamer. She's now selling farts in a jar for $1,000.
Of course she is.
She's also she's quite like it's a businesswoman. She probably might be an inspiration to young girls all over the world. So we'll be talking about some of her businesses and some of the things that she's invested in recent months, and a few of her latest products. She's pushed the boat out. She's has more of a well-rounded portfolio than our original Fart Jar Girl.
Fair play to her.
Yeah. Like I kind of think she's kind of come to the end maybe of like she's like, oh, I can't do the whole Twitch thing forever. I'm gonna need to diversify my portfolio, and Fart Jar seems to be one of the ways she's gonna be doing this. And then my Ukrainian story is around Tyson Fury. He and his dad apparently said that him and his dad are going to get involved in war. He'll be fighting alongside the Klitschko's. If England decide to get involved, send troops, he goes, you defend your country and love your woman is basically the motto, and that him and his dad and the brothers are going to be first line if England get involved, and they're going to be defending England while loving their wives. So I take it the wives are coming along too, or maybe they'll do that before they go over.
It's an absolute head case.
Do you know what? It's all to promote a fight that he has come up, but my God, is he good of it? Because it was like he was being asked in middle of an interview, and he's preparing for a fight, so you don't really know what kind of questions you take. You're going to be saying questions about the fight. And someone asked him about what's your opinion on the Klitschko's, and there's another heavyweight boxer. I'll just butcher his name. I think he's one of the current world champions.
There's a couple of UFC fighters as well.
Yeah, and he was like, "What's your opinion on them defending their country?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's amazing. I think it's brilliant." And then off the cuff, he goes into that line of like, I think if you're from your country, you live there, you defend her, you love her, as well as your woman. You love your woman and you fight for your country. And this is like a perfect line. And they obviously had like regular fans, and all the regular fans go, "Go on, yeah, go on." You all hear that, "Go on," like by like 20 or 30 people going, "Go on," and start clapping, and everyone else, felt like they had to clap as well. You know, that kind of like, it takes a few seconds. Oh, we're all applauding this, are we? Probably rushing the oligarchs going, "Oh, yes, we agree." We agree with everything you're saying.
He's just a head case, though.
He's a national treasure.
He is a fucking head case.
Because I was like, you know how any time there's a successful English person or Irish person, England always claims them as being from England. So yeah. Conor McGregor has got this treatment. Rory McIlroy is an interesting case. So we'll just go that it's complicated with Rory McIlroy. And then there's a few other kind of Irish sports stars that done with Katie Taylor got the whole British treatment by English press, even though she's represented Ireland. So like it happens. I think it's almost just to fucking annoy us. It's almost just didn't know then someone's going to release a story about how they said that, and Irish people are going to. I think they just troll. I think England trolls us basically. Ken, English newspaper trolls Ireland sometimes. That's where the tensions are between Ireland and England right now. Everyone is like, I wonder what the attitude? They just troll us every time like we do something well. They just go, "Oh, the British star," and we go, "Oh, we're not British." We bang our chests, we stamp the ground 3 times, and we go, "That's disgraceful." And then we get over it. They do that to us, and it's just like, I wonder if we could. There's only they're like a very rare being that comes along. That there's a person from England. We're like, oh my god, we wish they were Irish. We wish they're so close to being Irish. We could definitely pass them off, and they sort of have a connection to Ireland. So we go, yeah, their dad's Irish. They have cousins over here. So like, there's every now and then I wish we could just like have a trade of an Irish person for an English. Like you can have, like we said, Rory McIlroy is a complicated story, so we're not going to say Rory McIlroy. Just leave him out of this. But you can have poor Cardington if we can have Tyson Fury. If we can claim Tyson Fury as Irish, like
they're like a trade-off.
Yeah, a trade-off basically. The other one, and I know you're definitely not going to agree with this, and you're going to get annoyed I even mentioned his name, is Ed Sheeran is another one. Like, Irish people, he's already a kind of a national treasure in Irish people's hearts. He looks Irish. He's red hair. He's sound. He is a nice guy. He makes god awful music. I agree with that. But like, he's such a sound lad. You're like, oh my god, I wish he was Irish. And like, it's like, could we just trade the entire Westlife for Boyzone or even Bodum, and we take Ed Sheeran? Like, you can have Westlife, and we'll take Ed Sheeran, and we just make that agreement that like you can claim Westlife is Irish or English, and we'll claim Ed Sheeran's Irish, and then it's just like, I think it's a fair trade because they get 4 or 5, and we get Ed, and maybe Fury. I think it's a good trade. What do you think, Ken?
Well, we're throwing McGregor as well. They can have McGregor too if they want.
Oh, we definitely trade McGregor over for Fury. I think that's a solid trade. He's a good businessman, McGregor. In fairness, he's a good talker. Average fighter.
Solid trade.
Yeah, solid trade. Fury, pure decent fighter. Probably not the world's best businessman, since he gave all his money away to charity. But a great talker and great fighter. So I was like, it's a great trade. I think it's worth, on both sides, it's worth it. He can go around beating old men in England. Fury can go around doing Fury things.
Doing Fury things? Like, what does he even be doing?
I know, every now and again I see just like a screenshot. Like, he got into a fight with Conor McGregor on Twitter. And
before the crack.
Yeah, I know, exactly. He just starts trolling him. And like, McGregor tried to like have something up, and he out-trolled McGregor. Yeah, like, Conor McGregor is the best at put-downs. That's his thing. It's like putting people down, having these savage lines, and then Furious is like, having won a fight. Because they were commenting on Khabib's kind of like, he said, oh, Khabib did it right. Get in there, get your money, or get your belts, get out, leave on top. And then I don't know what McGregor's lines were, but he was just like, he tried to come back at him, saying some kind of shite to Tyson Fury. He's like, you haven't won 4 years. Like, who are you, or something like
that. Tyson Fury is just funny, man.
He's a national treasure, like, both to England and now hopefully someday Ireland. There's like 2 people I follow, and I actually go on to every now and then I go onto their Twitter pages, make sure I haven't missed a tweet from them, and that's Tim Dillon and Tyson Fury. Tim Dillon's the funniest comedian in America. And Tyson Fury, just for his trolling of like sports stars.
He should have his own TV show.
Who, Tyson Fury?
Yeah.
I don't know, like, it's very hard to capture that kind of essence in a TV show, though. Because I was saying the same thing about Tim Dillon. I said, like, Tim Dillon should have his own TV show. But it's very hard to capture his Twitter personality in a TV show.
But did you ever watch clips of Tyson Fury? I'd watch Tyson Fury for an hour a week.
Yeah, I would too. I'd 100% watch Tyson Fury for an hour a week. Or even 10 minutes. Just have him every day. He comes on, he has a ridiculous like stance on something.
And off he goes.
You know, like an Agnity Ant kind of a show. Like, you know, where people ring up about their problems. I want to see.
Didn't he do that one? Didn't he do that for like some fucking sports Facebook page for a while?
Oh, I was like, where is that YouTube link? Send me that now.
And it was all just like him saying ridiculous things to people.
Yeah, exactly. I want that. Like, it's like a daily thing, a YouTube channel where every day he solves one person's problem. It's like a problem a day kind of a thing. And he comes in there and he just gives a piece of advice. He said, "Tell you no what now?" And he's like, and he talks to them like, "This is what you need to do," and he gives them some ridiculous advice that they're not going to be able to ever like follow. Like, I don't.
Nobody should follow.
Yeah, nobody should. I don't want sensible advice. I don't want sensible fury here. I want
totally like irrational.
I want the fury that says you're meant to love your woman and fight for your country. I want that type of fight. But yeah, it's been ridiculous. I was trying to find the comments. I can't. But like, I think the traveling community, because that Tyson Fury comes from the traveling community, the British traveling community. I know he has Irish links. People probably get annoyed saying he is Irish if we don't mention that he has some form of Irish parents. But there was an Irish traveller actually recently gave it some voice. He's kind of annoyed about Vladimir Putin because we're just over a pandemic and we're just kind of just like, you don't have to wear the masks and now you're starting this shit. So he had this advice. The traveller community has been oddly like entertaining during this whole thing. Now, if people who aren't from the country when they're like, don't know what a traveling person is, this is a person that basically lives in traditionally will live in a mobile home and travel the country in different parts, leaving the rubbish behind generally. And they don't have the world's greatest names in terms of Ireland. There's a whole kind of, you can't, they're a protected species now.
Protected species.
So like here he's gives him some, I think, words of wisdom to Vladimir Putin.
You're getting all excited out here. You're stressing and you're out on the videos and on the telly telling you, great, you do this, you do that. Listen, you do nothing now, Valdemirs. You need to calm yourself down, right? Rather been only on the pandemic for 2 years. You know what I mean? Couldn't leave the caravan, couldn't leave the site, couldn't go nowhere. Everybody now putting the masks on and the vaccination, the whole job. And then we come out of the caravan and then start World War IV. You know what I mean? World War III was blowing the joists, now the World War IV. Listen to Valdemir. I'm going to give you a piece of advice now. I'm going to tell you this and tell you for nothing now. You need to calm it down now. You need to calm the whole job down and go on about your day. You know what I mean?
Do you know what? In fairness, I think that made more sense than the environmental minister and our future Taoiseach, Eamon Ryan, when he was trying to tell what the EU as well as the Irish government should do in response to Russia. And he kind of forgot what Russia is or the name of Russia. And like, we've all been there where we just have a brain fart, except when you're meant to be the next Taoiseach, literally, it's already agreed that he's going to be the next Taoiseach. So it's like
Eamon Ryan will never be Taoiseach.
Yeah, it's part of their pact. They all get a turn, basically.
No, it's only the two lads that get a turn. He doesn't get a turn.
No, he does get a turn. Trust me.
It's not. It's 2.5 years for Michal and 2.5 years for Leo.
Eamon Ryan gets a turn. Trust me. I've heard.
He doesn't. He doesn't get a turn.
Google it there. Google it and I'll play the Eamon Ryan thing.
Eamon Ryan does not get a turn.
Google it.
It's divided between
It's worth a Google now. I'll play Eamon Ryan and you search while I'm playing this. You search it and maybe I'm wrong.
Because he's only a minority party leader.
That's what's ridiculous about this whole thing. He's the leader of the Green Party in Ireland, so he's for the environment. He's against coal, and he's against all this. This is all very, very good. But he kind of is pushing his party agenda, and then forgets the key point of like what he's talking about is like how to stop Russia taking over Ukraine. And so here's his plan on stopping how to sanction Russia.
Vladimir Putin is to stop buying imported oil, gas, and coal from the from the USSR.
What the fuck is that?
What are you at, lad?
What the fuck is that?
It was him. So basically, it was a TikTok version of what he was saying. So basically, he forgot like what Russia is. First of all called it the European Union. He's like, we just have to stop buying coal and oil from the European Union. No, not yet. No, we'll save that for later. Then he's like, forgot what Russia is. So he called it SSSR, which is like the old Soviet Union. And then he realized, no, they haven't taken over yet. Then they're like, he eventually gets on to calling it Russia, and he's like, the point's lost now. A million TikToks are coming my way of me fucking this up. Have you Googled it, or are you just going to say no?
He won't be Taoiseach.
I will Google it because I don't trust you, Ken. That you've.
It's divided between Micheál and Leo.
Did you Google that now?
He has nothing to do with it.
Did you Google that now?
No, I just know.
No, see, like you can't just know. You have to Google these things.
You can't just know because it's the way it works.
Eamon Ryan be Taoiseach. Eamon Ryan leaves door open to becoming Taoiseach. Irish Times. Eamon Ryan has no interest in being Taoiseach. All right, the rotating role of his next government, says Varadkar. Fine Gael Varadkar has said that it will be rotating. Eamon, Micheál Martin, and Leo Varadkar. Okay, so this is from RT. This is what I heard, so I could have got this wrong. But according to RT, it says Fine Gael leader Leo Varadkar has said there will be a rotating Taoiseach. Everyone gets a turn.
Rotating Taoiseach between him and Micheál, not Leo, or not.
Government
not
deal with Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, and Green Party. Mr. Varadkar said, speaking to Dublin, blah blah blah. Asks, good question. Varadkar said that the draft programme for government is in line with Fine Gael values, blah blah blah. The programme of government. Under plans of Office of Taoiseach will then be a rotating between Varadkar. Varadkar said the draft program. Oh my God! Just get on to the point where I say to Ken, I'm right. It's parties. It would mean that Martin would become Taoiseach before the end of last month. Fianna Fáil said that it's definitely that Martin will be nominated. Legal. I'm not reading through all this. Green Party said the age. I don't know. I don't know if it does say it. See, I'm not reading through all this. It's one of the part where it goes, Mark's right.
Yeah, I have it here.
All right. You have the RT one.
I have it here, the Irish Times.
Yeah.
All right. Fianna Fáil leader Micheál Martin is expected to be Taoiseach the first half of the coalition with government, with Fine Gael's Leo Varadkar going second. Eamon Ryan has ruled out that he will. The senior Green sources have previously floated the idea of Mr. Ryle getting a year as Taoiseach, although Mr. Ryan ruled this out on Today with Sarah McInerney on Radio 1.
All right, fair enough. See, this is why we Google things. Like, I'm open to the idea I'm wrong. I'm wrong. But I still like the old Google to make sure I'm wrong. All right, so that's today in politics is covered. We covered the war. So what do you think is the next interesting thing? We have our pod, or I think our pod and the man are kind of a one story.
Yeah, the man kind of acts as an idiot, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of figuring out. Okay, we can talk about the pod, and then our idiot of the week is based off this, off that. So we could, and I think I'll leave Fart Jar Girl Part 2. I think that's the most interesting story we have today. I know that's shitting all over the whole war in Ukraine thing, saying that this Twitch streamer selling farts in a jar is more interesting. I don't really mean it like that way, but in terms of we seem to be obsessed with this Fart Jar Girl. It seems to be our thing. We didn't expect this would be the way we start 2022, but it was, and it is, and we're just gonna go with it. I
found a new duck as well, but she wasn't as interesting as Dave, so
fuck her. Leave her out. Did the right thing. Leave her out. So we'll talk about the company who is selling these weird pods. This is like, I was reading this article, and the opening line of the article struck me as a bit weird, and kind of like your man who's writing this article is a little bit jealous of this company. Or at least the staff.
For their own employees first. That's how it starts as a thing.
Yeah, the idea is like, because I know like where you work and where I work and where everybody works right now is like trying to get workers in. It's very hard to find workers, and everyone's trying their own different ways. Like, how to incentivize people to come to us over to the company down the street. And so like everyone's trying different ways. Maybe it's like paid days off. Maybe it's this. And yeah, like I said, I honestly think the reporter of the story is a little bit jealous. He says, an open-minded company has offered employees the opportunity to masturbate during work hours. And even has ordered a custom-built pod to do this business.
I have questions about this now.
All right. I have questions about this. But do you think, based off the opening line of the article, that the journalist is kind of a little bit jealous? He's like, well, an open-minded company, unlike fucking wherever this company, I'm not going to say the company's name, who's clearly not going to order us up.
It sounds like you're a bit jealous, Mark.
I don't know if I would be. I'd be like, I don't think I would be a confident. Like, it's gonna be a pod. You know, as soon as the person comes out of this, you're gonna have to like try not to make eye contact with the person who's just coming out of a wank pod. Like, that'd be like fierce or awkward.
But like, it's just very strange.
Yeah. Well, have you ever heard of people doing this in work?
No, but I say it definitely does happen.
Oh, it definitely happens. I thought you wouldn't. I've known people who've told me before that they've done it in work. Like,
why do people tell you they've done this in work?
You know, you're talking to people and weird stories come up. I think people feel comfortable where you can tell me things also. Like, this guy is a trustworthy person. I feel safer in him to tell him things, and I know he can't judge me.
He's not going to tell any of his tens of Russian listeners.
Yeah, all the kind of Russian bots that listen to his podcast. Yeah, but basically the idea of this this pod is to have like a virtual reality headset, a TV screen. You get half an hour in this pod in order to knock one out, which seems like a generous amount of time based off research that Pornhub has put out about how long the average person spends on their site.
I'm assuming you've seen toilets.
Yeah.
Right? So can you imagine what this thing would be like?
Oh yeah, no, like there's certain points of the day where I do not want to go into a bathroom after everyone after. Like in the mornings, it can be kind of clean, but you get in there like, especially after lunch, and the thing like people are just off finished eating. The cleaners probably haven't been sent back in again to fucking clean up. But yeah, that's a job. Like whatever about like your employees who work for your company being delighted or maybe a little bit awkward about this pod being in the middle of their fucking office space. But then you're going to have fun very, very hard now to find cleaners. I imagine all your cleaners like, I am not touching that. That's
and
not
then
bad.
You've even got like, where do you put it?
Like I said, middle of the office. Bangs.
Yeah, but like, so do you turn around to everybody and you say, oh, well, I know you've got this much space, office space, but now we're going to cut it back for this little wank pod thing.
Well, yeah, but the thing is about, like, I know, like, the idea of the pods, you can't see in, like, but you can still see people getting into it. There's still that awkward situation where you're walking down the hallway to go to the printer or whatever, and then the door opens, you're like, oh, I want to know who it is, but I also don't want to make eye contact. And there's like guilty stare to ground as they stare at the feet. And you're like, oh my god, he still has a weird look in his face. Can I leave? I need to find a new job. It's like, why am I still here? Well, also think 30 minutes. Like, what if you don't want to like knock one out? What if you just want to watch like another episode of Sabrina Teenage Witch? And you're like, I get half an hour. Like, what if you like? What if you do like, you know, like, well, I'm entitled to a half an hour in this pod. No one says I have to touch myself. I can just. I wonder if you can access ordinary TV and just spend it like, because you know people on the toilet breaks aren't always going to the toilet.
Like it's probably even limited to content produced by the company that provide the fucking thing.
Yeah, so the company is like an adult in the adult porn star industry, because it's called Strip Chat is the name of the company. So they're an adult social network thing, and they have 200 employees. They're located in Cyprus, and basically they've ordered in this pod for their staff as a kind of incentive packages. So like, here, you're watching a lot of like saucy material, so you might get a bit worked up while you're in work, and you might feel like you need to knock one off. So we've got you a pod, but yeah, the cleaning thing. It also like comes with toys. I was trying to find a nice way to put it, but the accessories, like I think it's the nice way of saying it.
Accessories.
Yeah, it says it's kit out with accessories. So I think that might be for the female as well as possibly other male ones as well.
People might be thinking, just to clear this up, people might be thinking, oh, men, but it's actually a female.
What?
The CEO of the company is actually female.
Oh, yeah, but I'm like there could be a large contingent of male workers there as well.
Yeah. Like initially when I read this, I was like, definitely some fucking lad decided I want to wank at work.
But like, I imagine in these porn offices, like in terms of people whose job is to watch porn or to curate porn sites, like they're watching all this like material for 8 hours a day. If we take the average working day, they're going to be getting themselves worked up. Like, so like, imagine it might be more common in these offices to knock one out in the bathroom compared to if you work like somewhere else.
Maybe that's where it started.
Maybe it is. Maybe this is a thing in the industry that this is a common thing that you'd hear people knock one out on the toilet seat, and what you're trying to pee and it's kind of off-putting. They're like, we really need a place for them.
We really need a place. We're going to just plank this thing in the middle of the office.
Yeah, and then they're also willing to then rent it out to other companies. People don't respect fucking vans or cars that are out on lease. Imagine a wank pod and how badly that's going to be treated. Would you think like a nightclub would go 50,000 in 6 months? We pay, and then you stick it in a nightclub. You think you'd see it in any takers?
Imagine that, like somebody proposing this to their boss.
Yeah, like I kind of imagine the boss saying this. You know how sometimes there's like staff meetings, and there's like, okay, I know it's been tough. Here are the things we're going to do. We're going to try to get people more weekends off. We're going to maybe add in an extra day off here and there. They're trying to incentivize. They're like, I know it's been hard. And he's like, and we're going to introduce a wank pod. And then they're like, what? Like, imagine a normal person who's just like, comes to work, does their job, and goes home, and never ever even crosses his mind not going off. And they're like, wait, how many people here? Like, you're going, oh yes. And they're like, oh no, not me. But I definitely want to test out the seat, if you know. Yeah, I wonder, like, once again, like, this could be a very industry-based thing.
Yeah, like, it just seems like a mad thing to, like...
Yeah, like, once again, like, I think this might be very specific to the industry, rather than, like, if it was, like, Google has brought out a wank pod for their offices, I think it'd be more shocking, but it's the fact that it's a porn company, and they're also trying to maybe sell it to other companies to buy it. Like,
it wouldn't surprise me if Google or Facebook start doing it.
Yeah. Now, one company that I guess basically could take them up on this offer of renting out, it might be a lot of money. And like, you know, we don't really know what your man's job was our idiot of the week. Like I said, I thought he was a painter, but he's living in China. He mightn't even be at work. This might have just been like his parents' gaff.
It's a form of painting.
And yeah, he was caught on CCTV camera getting it off with a pipe. But it was in a residential area. So like we're talking about like, oh, companies might rent this out, and if he worked for a company that had this pod, maybe he would be like he wouldn't find he needs to have like sex with like a pipe on the side of a house.
You wonder what went through his head.
But imagine what was his parents' gaff, and like the walls are too thin, and he's like, oh, where can I go to knock one out? And he's like, he's wandering around his house, and he goes, oh, there's a pipe there. I wonder if this feels the same. Surely the fear of cuts would be like enough to put you off.
Or like, what's the pipe connected to?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Could be like dryer or washing machine kind of lets off hot air out of it. Kind of steam comes out of there. You have kind of a pipe in utility rooms that kind of all the hot air from I think the dryer kind of goes out there and kind of shoots out kind of hot steam.
And then like he's clearly outside in it, so like. Yeah. What if there's like some sort of a weird spider up there, or there's like a fucking snake?
Yeah, especially with China, because they're more. I think the Asian cultures, and this is coming from a person that's never been to Asia and doesn't really understand the culture. I'm just going to try that as a preference. Are more open to masturbation and porn in general. There's like. I know a person who's in Japan who said there's a multi-story kind of like porn shops where like it's basically a skyscraper where every floor is a different kind of weird porn that you're into. Whereas we in Ireland, it's like a back of an alleyway down a ridge road, and there's some creepy fucking guy who still works in a sex shop. Yeah, looking at you coming in and goes, "Oh, do you want some anal beads?" No, stop selling me anal beads every time I come in here. Just seeing if you're still open.
Just see, why are you going in to just see if he's still open, Mark?
To see like how has online porn not closed you down years ago? Who's paying your bills?
The people that go in.
People charge an entry fee just to walk around the creepy and stare at people who are actually there to buy stuff.
Or there to view the videos.
What?
There to view videos.
Videos, yeah. I must ask our friend that worked in the sex shop what was the most common things that would people buy there? Would it be videos or would it be toys? I imagine I'd say toys. So.
Well, like they usually have like a viewing booth, don't they?
Don't know, Ken. I've never actually been in a sex shop.
Have you not?
No.
We did a Christmas thing one year.
Oh
and
yeah.
it all had to be like fucking filth themed.
What?
It all had to be like filth themed.
All right.
Yeah.
You just go in there and jeer, go. Yeah. So like that's your man. But like we said, it could be it'd be weird if it was residential. Do you think nightclubs? You know, you take this off and imagine in a nightclub you're like there and you'd be just staring at to see who comes out.
And plus, nightclub toilets are never fucking overly clean, so imagine that thing wouldn't be very clean either.
Oh god, it wouldn't be touched till the next day, and then like once again, like good luck getting a cleaner. Like I know they find them in kind of places that have kind of sex shows, like fucking the Netherlands and stuff like Amsterdam, places like that. They do manage to find cleaners who work there and clean those stuff like that, but. It's a dirty job, I imagine.
It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. I wonder if it's even well paid.
You get an hour in the pod.
An hour in the pod. Once again, like it doesn't matter, like in terms of increasing of time, because if you look at like Pornhub statistics, the average length of like people who that's spending on their website, it's like doesn't get past 15 minutes, like. That includes searching, browsing. Like it gets low as 3 minutes. Like in terms of your entire time that you spend on it, it's like I think 30 minutes is like a generous amount of time. I wonder if it comes out of your break, because then you often see people trying to multitask, have their break, as well as like spend their time.
Yeah, like you only get a half-hour break now because you spend 30 minutes in the wank booth.
Yeah, because like some people only get 45 minutes. They maybe get like a 15-minute break and a half an hour break. So they have a big break, little break kind of thing. And then, like, are they going to just cram their food in for the 15 minutes that they have? Or they kind of like maybe take it, divide up their time, have a quick one. And then on my 15-minute break, and then I'll have the half an hour for my lunch.
Yeah, who knows?
See, the world's all pointed around weirdos and smokers. It's like, if you don't have an addiction or a weird thing to knock one off from work, you don't get like a 5-minute anything. I want 5 minutes to just stare into the abyss and do nothing.
Well, legally you're not entitled to smoke breaks.
Yeah, they're at the discretion. But you know, like how some companies are offering things like extra days off if you're not a smoker.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to get challenged or something.
Or possibility like an extra pay. I wonder if if that was brought in, would more people go fuck this and give up the cigarettes?
I think it would probably stop people smoking at work anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think it was the vaping thing was meant to stop people smoking at work, because then they'd be able to stay at their desk and vape. That's was probably the original idea of a vape, is that you could sit in a room and vape, and you're only releasing fucking water vapor into sky, so you're not really harming other people by smoking it.
You still have to go outside to use it.
Yeah, but exactly. Then they brought it. The thing was like, no, you can't smoke that inside buildings. So then that killed that whole idea. I remember when they were brought out, and one of the lads was like, he was giving up smoking, and one of the advantages of like he thought of like kind of vaping was, instead of every like half an hour going out for a smoke break, he'd be able to kind of sit at the desk and like just kind of vape away every few minutes, and kind of like he might only take a puff of it and then be able to go back to kind of work wouldn't really be a big thing. Instead of having to go out for a full cigarette and maybe spend 10 minutes out there having the chats and having the smoke.
Yeah, no, I don't understand these. Do you ever see like these kids are like 16 and stuff and have got a vape? Like,
oh, they started vaping. Yeah, I knew a guy, like one of the guys in work. He doesn't work there now, but like he had started vaping. He never smoked before, and he's just like, yeah, it looked cool.
He actually looked like a tit.
I was like, you're an idiot. Yeah, it's just like, you are a fool. But like, is there any kind of research around secondhand smoking in terms of the vaping or secondhand vapes? Like, is there any?
That's where it all started, because there was some study that was like, it actually is still harmful.
Oh, is it?
Well, that's what they were saying.
All right, we must look that up, or not now. But like, I might look into that. I'll look into
look into vaping.
No, look into secondhand vape smoke. Is it dangerous to be around?
Yes, I think that's where it came from, that you weren't allowed to use them inside.
All right. Well, was there time though, or was it kind of like we don't? I thought the reason why you weren't allowed inside because there wasn't enough long-term research on the dangers of inhaling the vape air from this. Because isn't it all this water vapor that comes out of it? That's
what the manufacturers always argued, but when they did studies, there was like chemicals and stuff in it too.
All right, in the water vapor.
I don't think there's not as many chemicals as there is in fucking...
Yeah, I don't think it's as harmful, because it isn't as harmful to smoke vapes as it is to smoke cigarettes.
But a lot of them started blowing up. Did you see that?
No.
A lot of them blowing up. We've seen a lot of stories where people getting like...
This is why we need like a video aspect to our podcast. Like, I just feel like we're really missing out on the kind of the visual aspect of our podcast. Will we move on to our final story?
Go on.
Our final story is of Fart Chart Girl, which what's her name? Stephanie.
Oh, I don't even know. Stephanie something.
Yeah, we really we've talked about her for a full year at this stage, and like we really should know her name. We nicked it in Fart Chart Girl, and we're very lazy to actually. But this is not. She's now inspiring other OnlyFans stars.
Fair play to her.
Yeah, Amaranth. I'm going to say that. AMOURANTH. Amaranth. Is like the most famous. Yeah, so like if I have got this wrong, there's teenagers screaming at their phones. Yeah, God, it's Amaranth. She's like the most successful female Twitch streamer. So a Twitch streamer is basically a person who plays video games and people watch them play on a site called Twitch. And I don't know if Twitch does anything else. I know you can upload podcasts to it, because I remember people saying about Joe Rogan on Twitch. But like I've never went onto the site. I don't really know anything about Twitch. But I think the idea of it is that like people watch you play games and they can send you money if they like you. I think they have their kind of own currency, isn't it? And you can send people like tokens, and those tokens are actually money.
So we're going to send you money to play computer games.
That's how I think that's how pretty much all the big video gamers make their money is from Twitch, from people watching. And it's like you could have millions tune in to watch like FIFA games of like these, which are at this stage professional like football teams who play FIFA all over the world, and they like sign players and all, like in order for gamers to play on their team.
That's just mental.
It is a fucking mental thing, and like yeah, you have all these players who spend like fuck amounts of time playing these video games, and like their parents are backing them because they're going to be like they can make millions off playing video games from like
people will really pay for anything.
Yeah, and like one of the biggest kind of I think girls can really cash in on this, because obviously the market's teenage boys essentially, or like a vast majority of people who be on Twitch, early to late teens, maybe 20s. And so, like, if you have a really good looking girl who's well endowed, she can make a lot of money playing video, especially if she's pretty decent at playing video games. So this is how Amaranth has first came to like prominence. I don't know what game made her popular. I don't know too many about her, but she's also done kind of cosplay and some other kind of, I think it's called ASMR and cosplay. I don't know what ASMR is.
Some sort of weird thing.
Yeah. So, and she kind of dresses up with characters from like a video game. Insert video game, please. Fucking Halo. I don't know. I am not a gamer.
I don't think she'd be dressed up as somebody from Halo.
Yeah, me neither, actually. I was trying to think of the one, where they have really giant swords, ridiculous swords, and there's elves and stuff like that. I was trying to think of something like that.
Zelda.
Yeah, let's go Zelda. But yeah, she has recently started to kind of diversify her portfolio. And one of the ways was she spent $10 million, Ken, buying a 7-Eleven, which is like what we would call a petrol station or like gas station in the America. I imagine it would be gas over petrol if it's in the United States. And she spent, which I thought this is probably as funny for whatever reason, spent $1 million on a plastic ball company. I thought that was as funny as the farts in the jar thing. I don't know why. I don't know what led her or what financial advice she's got. They're like, you need to buy this plastic ball company. And she's like, okay, what do you think it's worth? $1 million. I'd say you buy it for $1 million now. In 5 to 10 years' time, you could sell for maybe 6. Like, I don't know what kind of plastic balls. If they made the widgets and the Guinness would keep you going for some time over. I don't know if the plastic balls are made for ping pong tables, possibly. And she brings her own ping pong line. I don't know.
Or are they like smaller little balls, like like tiny little balls that you put into like stupid things?
Like what?
Like those I don't know. Like those things that come in, like say a new pair of runners. The little bag, and it's full of like these tiny little chemical ball things.
Oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, could be something like that. But she spent $1 million on a plastic ball company. Because it's always like very interesting. $10 million even on a garage seems excessive. She's 28 years old, so she might see us like, eventually I'm gonna have to I'm not gonna get as much money from my looks. This is the fleeting currency. So like, I might as well diversify our portfolio, and this is a smart business. I guess choice is to maybe reinvest some of your fart jar money into a company that you can possibly make money without farting in jars.
You can make money without farting in jars?
Man, if only I knew this earlier. I was still getting on board with the whole idea of trying to make money by farting in jars.
Shite talk, shite jars.
Yeah, shit jars. Maybe that we go one step further and we just start shitting in jars. So
that'd be a good idea.
Yeah. I don't know who'd buy them. Some Russian oligarchs, maybe, if we say nice things about them. Yeah, so like basically, her jars are kind of follow in the same time or the original fart jar girl. So she sells them for $1,000, but hers are a little bit different because you get human hair, her human hair, I should say, in the jar as well.
So she's selling her hair in jars?
So she farts in a jar, but to like kind of personalize it, I think she puts one of her hairs into each jar, and they're like a limited edition fart jar collection. So like, she isn't just knocking them out like a factory. She's only going to do a certain amount of these. So they're just like, they're collector's item, really, Ken.
This seems ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, the most watched Twitch streamer in 2021. She also revealed that she made 1 million a month off OnlyFans.
As you do.
Yeah. Her name of her jars are called Cutie Paw Tutti Ish. It was IES.
I'm going to guess that's just horribly butchered.
Yeah, well, it's Cutie Paw line Toot Ish. And basically the scents are of her farts from this Twitch streamer. And, you know, they're $1,000, which is a lot of money. Especially for a lot of hot air.
It's smelly hot air.
Yeah, smelly hot air at that. But, like, there's definitely fucking guys who... Like, if there's guys buying off your other ones, they're going to definitely buy the Twitch streamers.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely a market for it. There's an established market for it.
There's a now established market. But she's also said, here, look, I'm going to bring out a range of products, and they're going to vary in price in case you can't afford $1,000 for farts. Which, you know, is fair enough. Not a lot of people can afford $1,000 for farts.
At least she's been flat about it.
Yeah, so she's also selling bat water in jars, and that's only $200.
Oh, that's not too bad.
That's a reasonable price for some bat water now.
Or you could like just make your own free.
But would it be her authentic bat water that she possibly might have even farted accidentally in?
Oh, now you're getting onto something.
Yeah, and like, you know, some of the water could be in sitting bats, you know, so some of the water might have went up somewhere, you know, came back down. There's a lot of feces in bat water. If you stay in there too long, you're mostly swimming in your own feces or lying in your own feces. It's kind of disgusting. So, like, if you collect that bat water, you know.
That's going to be the next thing now, Mark. The next thing is going to be bat water farts.
Yeah, bat water farts. Yes. Or a diffuser that smells like these girls' farts.
Diffuser?
Yes, you just stick a diffuser. They somehow manage to get the scent into an oil. You put it into this diffuser thing and you have your room smelling disgusting. I don't know, what's wrong with her? Women have taken over the world. Like, if they can get, like, probably 90% of men to pay a decent sum of money for their farts, like, they're winning. They've capitalized on our weirdness. Congratulations. What is the next industry? So if you're watching this now and you're seeing farts and you're seeing bat water, what is the next obvious progression? Is it like underwear, clippings of underwear?
No, I think it is farty bat water.
Use condoms. Is that the male equivalent?
Oh, Jesus. That's what you're going into, is it?
Toilet water.
Into toilet water. There you go. That could be the next one.
So I'm trying to figure out what's it like. Yeah. You know, when your shower's clogged up, you just take out all the gunk from what's in your shower and ship it off. Fresh batch today. Who wants it? But yeah, it's a strange time we were living in.
Like, and where did this girl come from? I have a feeling they're all American.
The internet. Yeah, I take it she looks American. She's like dyed bright red hair, massive tits. Once again, if we had a video aspect, I could screen share what she looks like to our listeners and you. Have to go off my description.
So go ahead, describe Americans again.
Describe her.
What do Americans look like?
They have giant heads, black eyes. They're about 4'3". Am I doing a good job, Ken?
Yeah, why not?
So I've nailed what Americans look like.
Some Americans. I don't see what makes her look like America. Well, you know what's kind of a giveaway that's American, Mark?
What? Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, she tagged her location.
Yeah, well, okay, Ken. Okay, well, first of all, I don't follow this girl online. I just literally Google, searched her name, screenshot it, and sent it over to you. But so, yeah, well,
might be a giveaway there.
Yeah, I'm glad you're able to look at the finer prints, not the basis of the photo. But you can see why she's very successful. You can see why a lot of lads like looking at her.
I'm buying her fart jars.
So, like, yeah.
Who looks at a girl and goes, I wonder what her farts smell like?
You might have that thought, but like, it's kind of like one of these weird thoughts that you get once and you kind of then forget about it. Like, you don't really...
I can't say I've ever had that thought.
Oh, I haven't either, but like, you know, like you get weird thoughts. I'm just talking, you know, something weird that pops in your head and you go, why the fuck did I even think that? And then you just forget about it. All right. I think we can end it there. On the show, because I think it's only going to get weird now. And we went past the hour mark.
It's only going to start getting weird now.
Yeah, it was completely normal until now. And if we keep going, it's just going to get weird. But until just now, it was completely normal.
Yeah, for this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll leave it there. We'll be back next week. We hope.
I know when I was on the last hill.
Possibly.
We'll talk to you then.
Good luck.
Oh, no.